Welcome to This Explainer, everyone. So, what if I told you there are entire countries out there with their own presidents, their own armies, passports, and citizens, but they just don't exist on any official world map? I mean, it sounds completely impossible, right?
But you know what? This isn't science fiction, and we aren't talking about ancient history either. This is happening right now, today. We're talking about the ghost nations. And honestly, the reason these places have been completely erased from our maps is going to change how you see global borders forever.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. The map is a lie, uncovering the invisible rules of borders. So here's the crazy thing. Every single country you learned about in school, staring at that map on the wall, it only exists because other countries agreed it exists. That's it. That's literally the entire rule. It's a fragile collective agreement that experts call diplomatic recognition. Basically, when a group of people stands up and declares independence, the rest of the world has a choice to make. They can accept them, they can ignore them, or they can actively oppose them. And most of the time, well, they just get ignored. And when enough powerful countries ignore you, you literally fall right off the map.
But see, the reality on the ground is entirely different. You can't just erase a place. The people don't disappear. The buildings don't just vanish. The flags, the soldiers, the customs checkpoints you have to drive through, they are all absolutely still there. So today, we're exploring the stories of 7 specific places that are living right in that bizarre gap between existing and not existing. Part 2, frozen, divided, and erased, when survival means being stuck. Let's look at our first group of ghost nations. Number 1 on our list is Transnistria. This is a super thin strip of land sandwiched perfectly between Moldova and Ukraine. So when the Soviet Union collapsed, this region completely refused to join Moldova. They actually fought a brief war over it, and Russia backed them up. Today, Transnistria has its very own army, its own currency, and its own government, with Russian troops still stationed there right now. Yet they have zero, and I mean zero, recognition from UN members. It's basically the last fragment of the Soviet Union, a place literally frozen in 1991, still flying Soviet-era symbols and surviving almost entirely on Russian support. Moving on to number 2, Nagorno-Karabakh. And guys, this one is deeply tragic. For decades, this Armenian majority region inside Azerbaijan claimed independence. They called themselves the Republic of Artsakh. They had a president, an army, a flag. It functioned as a totally real country for 30 years. But then in 2023, Azerbaijan launched a major military offensive. And in just 24 hours, it was completely erased. In the immediate aftermath of that 24-hour offensive, over 100,000 Armenians fled their homes. I mean, think about that. A nation that stood for 3 decades vanished, essentially overnight. It's absolute proof that ghost nations don't just slowly fade away into the history books. Sometimes they violently die. Number 3 is Western Sahara. Back in 1975, when Spain left the region, Morocco moved right in. The native Sahrawi people declared an independent republic, and actually about 46 countries do recognize it. But here's the catch. Morocco controls most of the contested territory, and they sealed it off by building a massive 2,700 kilometers sand wall. To put that into perspective, that is one of the longest military barriers on Earth. Meanwhile, the Sahrawi people are still waiting, many of them stuck in refugee camps in the Algerian desert, and they've been waiting for over 40 years now. Number 4, Northern Cyprus. So in 1974, Turkey invaded the northern third of the island of Cyprus. By 1983, they declared it the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. Today, only one single country in the whole world recognizes it. Any guesses? Yeah, it's Turkey. Every other nation on Earth calls it an illegal occupation. And because of this, the capital city, Nicosia, remains entirely split in two. It's actually the last divided capital city on Earth, with a UN buffer zone cutting straight through the middle of the streets. Part 3, the inconvenient success stories. Too real to ignore, too controversial to accept. Let's move to and see how this builds, because not all ghost nations are frozen conflict zones. Take number 5, Somaliland. When northern Somalia collapsed into a brutal civil war in 1991, this one region did something completely different. They held democratic elections, they built functioning courts, they printed their own currency. Somaliland has actually functioned as a highly stable, democratic state for over 30 years. Yet, 0 United Nations members officially recognize it. Why? Well, it's mostly because the African Union is terrified that recognizing breakaway regions could cause dozens of other colonial-drawn borders to completely shatter. So Somaliland is literally being punished for succeeding, just because its success is politically inconvenient. Number 6 is Kosovo. They declared independence from Serbia back in 2008, following a horrific war in the 90s. Now, over 100 countries recognize Kosovo today. We're talking major players like the US, the UK, Germany, and France. They've got their own Olympic team, a phone country code, an international airport, the whole shebang. But Serbia doesn't recognize it. China doesn't. And critically, Russia doesn't. Because Russia holds veto power, Kosovo remains locked out of the United Nations. It's basically too real to ignore, yet too controversial to fully accept. Which brings us to number 7, Taiwan. By every possible metric, this is the biggest ghost nation of them all. We're talking about the world's 22nd largest economy, a fully functioning, vibrant democracy, and a population of over 23 million people. And beyond just its economic size, its global importance is absolutely staggering. Taiwan produces over 90% of the world's most advanced semiconductors. Think about that for a second. Those are the chips inside every smartphone, every AI system, every modern computer on Earth. Our entire modern technological world relies completely on this one single island. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the jarring contrast. Despite building the hardware that literally runs the modern world, only 12 countries officially recognize Taipei. Just 12. The reason? It comes down entirely to global economics and power. China claims Taiwan is a Chinese province, and because of China's massive economic leverage, most countries just will not risk angering Beijing by extending official diplomatic recognition. As the saying goes, Taiwan is too important to ignore and too dangerous to fully support. It is, without a doubt, the world's most consequential ghost nation right now. Part 4, Who Decides What Exists? The Truth About the World Map. Let's bring this all together. The irony here is just profound. When you look at a map, most of those modern borders were drawn by European empires. They were invented by colonial mapmakers who, frankly, had never even visited the places they were dividing up. Yet those borders are universally respected on paper as solid reality. But a place like Somaliland, which has been a stable, democratic, and self-governing society for 3 decades, is treated like a ghost. It really shows you that diplomatic recognition is not some kind of reward for democracy or stability. It has absolutely nothing to do with the will of the people actually living on that land. It is entirely about power. That world map hanging in your old classroom, it isn't an objective picture of reality. It's simply a picture of which governments have decided to accept each other. Which leaves us with a question that almost nobody asks. If a country has people, laws, physical borders, and a working government, but powerful nations